We'll see if Jason has any of his early acceleration.
Looks like it's just going to be a Temple Garden go here.
Although, arguably, you would even not really want to be drawing your mana accelerants because they die easily and cause you to play your dual lands untapped. I'm sure Jason's actually happy just to make regular land drops and not have to lean on his creatures for acceleration.
So we do see a turn 2 Blood Artist here from DJ, so right away he does have one of the more non-traditional cards in play, and we'll see what kind of impact it's going to have in this particular game. As we do see Jason kind of thumbing back and forth, playing a Temple Garden untapped, knocking himself down to 16, something DJ's got to be pretty happy about.
This has to, and no play, so that represents a couple things. One is that, Jason almost certainly has Selesnya Charm, and two, it's very likely he doesn't have another land if he had to play that Temple Garden untapped.
And so we do see a Blood Artist pre-combat and then Diagraph Ghoul coming on in, basically saying, if you want a Selesnya Charm, you'll get to kill my Diagraph Ghoul, but you are going to take 4 damage to do that. I'm going to gain 4 life. So
I feel like we're already kind of committed here. The cat's out of the bag, and
if you take the 2 there,
yeah.
I can't imagine you take the 2 and then you're not going to make this trade. So we do see Selesnya Charm here is going to make that 2/2 Vigilant Knight. The trade will occur, and then we'll have 4 triggers from Blood Artist, so long as TJ does remember his triggers.
But no third land? Jason draws a... Oh, he had a third Temple Guard in his hand, so
okay.
He wasn't out of lands, but...
DJ did miss his land drop. He does take a draw step, and he passes back yet again. Now, this, Patrick, is a deck that traditionally does play 24 lands in the list that we've seen. DJ's, I'm not sure exactly how many...
22.
Only 22, okay. Now, we do see him peel off a Dragon Skull Summit for the first Dross Messenger of the match. And as we found out this morning, Dross Messenger, if you look at the picture closely enough, it has a beard.
It has a beard.
Yes.
How weird is that?
I don't know why a zombie wouldn't shave.
Or even how it would even grow facial hair. And turn Restoration Angel. And Jason with multiple Huntmaster in his hand, but without red mana.
You see an Angel Serenity drawn for the turn. Again, no red mana. We do know that he has a Plains in his hand. Not quite sure if there's any Thragtusk looming.
It looks like the card all the way to the left in his hand is a Thragtusk. And he also has Garruk Primal Hunter, so he has a 5 to play this turn.
Plains going to enter the battlefield. 5 mana tapped, and there's a Thragtusk.
Yep.
So Jason is going to move up to 15. But that Thragtusk, I mean, while it is good, of course, these 2 Blood Artists here, an attack from Dross Messenger, kind of, mitigating that 5 life.
Yeah. No, Blood Artist is going to be doing some work here if Jason's going to be trying to control the board through blocking, and he's just going to take that hit. Yeah.
You are going to see a Gravecrawler here post-combat after he takes that hit from Dross Messenger. We might see a little bit of racing here with the Thragtusk and the Angel Serenity versus the Blood Artist. So you do see Jason draws a Sun Petal Grove, so still without that red mana, but 1 mana closer to the Angel Serenity in his hand.
Yeah, although DJ is also 1 mana off of Falconwrath Aristocrat, which with the 2 Blood Artists and the Messenger in play, I mean, if Jason just attacks and plays Garruk and makes a beast, it's actually possible that he just dies.
Yeah. And we are going to see Jason reaching here, and considering both creatures, considering the ramifications of just 1 guy right now. Patrick, how do you think you would attack this turn?
If I'm playing Garruk and making a beast, I'm probably leaving Restoration Angel back and just attacking with Thragtusk.
And you do the same kind of struggle that you just kind of had. Jason's going basically the same thought pattern that you are. It's kind of difficult, if you want to race here, because obviously because of Blood Artist and he does have Angel Serenity in his hand as well. So if he does, draw that 7th land, what are the ramifications of doing this? Because he is leaving himself pretty open right now.
I actually think the best attack there might just be say go. Because if you get to Angel Serenity, you're just like, all right, get your Blood Artist off, and now it doesn't matter what you do from here.
Sure.
But now if he has Aristocrat, Jason just needs time to play his hand. He has multiple Huntmaster in his hand, etc., etc. This is just, you're not going to win by out racing him here, I feel like.
Garruk, Primal Hunter does come into play. You guys do see the Beast token enter play. And DJ draws another Blood Artist.
Right, and now it's how does Jason even block from here? You know what I mean? And if that was Aristocrat or Hellrider instead, I think Jason would just die.
Yeah. You do see Gravecrawler and Dross Messenger coming across. Basically, quote-unquote free attacks here. Not quite sure if he's attacking the Planeswalker or Jason himself, but again, if Gravecrawler is blocked, I mean, or Messenger is blocked, it's all upside here.
Yeah.
And it looks like Jason just does choose to take it and move down to 7. But now the problem here for DJ is that there's a Garruk in play. There's a Thragtusk that can draw him 5 cards. You do see Bonfire the Dam drawn,
Yep.
but
Alright,
no
so we're
red
gonna
mana.
draw 5 and try to just peel off a 7th land, and Angel of Serenity, I would imagine the 3 Blood Artists.
Yeah, that would actually clean it up. And as we do see him draw a bunch of cards there, none of them are a
Oh,
land.
wow. He
2
actually-
Huntmaster of the Fells, 2 Avacyn's Pilgrim, and a 2nd Angel of Serenity. No
wow.
land.
Wow. That is surprising.
Take your math, throw it right out the window.
Yeah, and actually, yeah, no 7th land and still no red mana. He has like all this green and white tools basically in the
Yeah.
plains. I do not believe that Jason was anticipating this sequence of events.
No, I think I definitely agree with you. With how DJ's last turn played out, if you're Jason, you're kind of pumping the fist. Just another Blood Artist, all right.
Yeah.
I get to look at 6 cards this turn.
Yeah.
This one should probably be a wrap here.
Doesn't even matter if I had to play like Ravdul on tap, really. That's fine.
I'm
Yeah.
healthy enough.
Yeah. Wow.
As we do cut to Jason, you can see there a lot to consider now, as
Yeah.
he did not draw that 7th land for the Angel of Serenity that would have basically closed the game out. And now he is going to attack with Restoration Angel here to knock DJ down to 10. But again, without any red mana for that Bonfire of the Damned or those 3 Huntmasters in his hand, we're just going to see 2 Avacyn's Pilgrims join the fray. And again, Jason is hoping that he makes it out of this turn alive.
Yeah. 3, 4, 5. Yep. His hand is a Garruk, 2 Angels, 2 Huntmasters, and a Bonfire.
DJ draws his card. Is it that 4th land that he needs to finish this game? It does not look like it. I think it would have came down very quickly if it were.
Yep. Well, he also has 3 copies of Rakdos Guildgate in his deck. So.
Oh, okay. I'm all too familiar with that one. So we can't quite make out the contents of DJ's hand, but you can tell there, as you can see him, a lot to think about. If it was a 4th land untapped, it would have been in play by now. Probably would see a Falconeth Aristocrat coming across for the old Fireball. But we are going to see DJ come across with the Gravecrawler and Dross Messenger yet again.
Yeah, and I assume that our best block, like we can't really trade, right? So we have to put, yeah, we're just going to take that hit and go to 2. So now we die to any kill spell. Wow.
We have a Vampire Nighthawk.
It is hard to believe that neither of these players were able to kill the other with, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's very, very surprising. As you do see, Jason draws a Thragtusk for the turn, and he can cast Angel of Serenity now. But is Angel of Serenity going to be enough?
Yeah, it's rough, right? Because DJ has Bonfire and 2 Searing Spears, so if you actually play the turn and don't gain any life, he's just going to go with Thragtusk. Although now, Aristocrat is still a lethal draw.
Aristocrat's lethal draw. The Hell
Like
Rider.
4th land,
Yeah, Hell Rider's lethal
yeah.
draw because then the Blood Artists are going to attack, of course.
Right.
And trigger the Hell Rider. So, the 4th land is pretty, as long as it's a non-Rakdos Guildgate land, is going to be lethal. As you see, DJ draws a card.
Is again,
Now the question you have to ask here, the attacks round was free, right? Just because there being 3 Blood Artists in play.
Oh yeah. No, he has to get in with everything. It's actually still very challenging because this attack is lethal, but any block that he has actually deals more or the same amount of damage. Like I believe this attack is simply lethal.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure how Jason's able to get out of this situation now.
Yeah, because every creature deals at the minimum either its power or the number of Blood Artists in play. Like that has to happen basically. So this is just simply a lethal attack.
You can see Jason kind of going through the motions here on how you should consider blocking. But again, if anything does die, and it looks like there's no real blocks that can take place where something doesn't die.
Yeah, and there's a concession. Yeah,
there's
we needed to just angel away those 3 Blood Artists to start off. So that was a surprising game insofar as you felt like each time one player went into their turn, the other player was going to die that turn for about 4 turns.
Yeah.
So
a bit surprising here. We are going to cut back to the booth for you guys because, Patrick, it is premium giveaway time.
Yes.
Very early in the morning here. And so what we do here is we ask you a question. We normally toss a few softballs up. No, yesterday was a little bit more difficult,
Yeah.
but fun with the Ink Treader Nephilim. Name,
That
Nephilim. Was
It's
not
very hard to do. Because there's only 5 of them, but it's real hard.
We're probably going to play a little later today, but we're going to toss a softball your way. Of course, all you have to do for this is we ask you a question. You tweet the answer to hashtag SCG Premium, and we will draw from one of the people who gets it correct, and we will give away 6 months of premium. And the question for you is in DJ Break's Black-Red Zombies list, a deck that normally does have a copy of Thundermaw Hellkite somewhere. He has cut that card for a different 5-drop that he has 1 copy of. And if you're able to name that 5-drop that he has 1 copy of, you can tweet the answer to hashtag SCG Premium, and we will give away 6 months of premium to one of the people who gets the correct answer.
Yeah.
Pretty easy?
Pretty easy.
I feel like that was more of a softball than name that Nephilim.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's a little bit easier, yeah.
Okay, but we'll play name. We'll have to play again.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
we'll probably do it during the Legacy.
I mean, Legacy is going to
portion.
give us, God knows how many opportunities to name that Nephilim.
Yeah, we'll toss that one back out there. We'll make you guys. Maybe we'll make them earn on the year one. We'll play name that Nephilim again later today. But we want to give you guys an easier one this time. I can't believe people got it right yesterday, especially when you didn't even know if it was the right Nephilim. That's my favorite part.
Well, I didn't know if it was Ink Tread or Ink Shredder.
Sure.
I knew
sure.
it was the ink one because that's actually the easiest one to remember because it's ink and ink is black. So that one is actually pretty easy.
Oh, okay.
It's the non-black one, and yeah, that one's actually fairly easy to remember.
I guess that's the easy one.
The other ones are like, Lord help you. There's just no chance you can memorize them. So, onto our sideboard here. I've got DJ's deck in front of me, and he has 2 copies of Appetite for Brains, which is pretty much for this matchup, the Hunt Master Interactive style decks. Another Bonfire and a Flames of the Firebrand, neither of which I think he wants here because I think the threats in the Naya deck are a little bit too big for that. He has 2 copies of Mizium Mortars, which I actually like a lot here. Both as a sweeper if he can get to 6, and it's just a good answer to Loxodon Smiter, which is fairly hard to answer otherwise. 2 copies of Market Mutiny, which I think is also probably almost certainly just for Thragtusk decks.
Yeah.
3 copies of Pillar of Flame, which I don't believe he wants. 2 Rakdos Charms, and 2 Slaughter Games, which I guess is possible, but I suspect it's for much more kind of control-oriented blue decks.
Yeah, maybe for your Sphinx Revelation type decks.
Right, or on Burial Rites decks possibly. I actually am fairly surprised with the Zealous Conscripts and the Blood Artists and multiple copies of Market Mutiny in the sideboard. The DJ is not playing with Bloodthorn Vampire. It seems pretty ideally suited. He doesn't have a lot going on at 2, and interacts pretty favorably with a lot of things that are going on in this deck.
Yeah, you do find 4 copies of Knight of Infamy in his deck list, but that's a card that's been in there for a little while, and it could be cut out for Bloodthorn Vampire because Bloodthorn Vampire does have a bit more synergy.
Right.
So I could see an argument
if
for
you
that.
mark a Mutiny, a Thragtusk with Bloodthorn Vampire game, that's game.
That is quote unquote game.
The judge comes over and actually just declares you the winner.
Yeah.
You don't even have to go through the motions of attacking for lethal.
Taking a look here at Jason's deck, he will be playing first in this particular game. 2 more copies of Loxodon Smiter, so he can bring himself up to 4. You're also going to find 2 copies of Oblivion Ring. A bit slow in this particular matchup, so I'm not quite sure that's going to join us. 1 Cigar to Host of Herons, again a really slow threat. 1 Bonfire of the Damned, a card that's oftentimes not very good against zombies. Just because Draw's Messenger comes back, Grave Queller comes back, Blood Artist, which we've seen, can actually work unfavorably,
Right.
In terms of that. And then you're going to find 3 copies of Rest in Peace, which is kind of a strange card to be bringing in because it doesn't affect the board. With the fact that it can take off the Undying from Draw's Messenger, I believe it 1-ups Blood Artist, I believe.
Yep.
And then taking care of Gravecrawler as well. It's something to consider, I think, here.
I think that he probably doesn't want something that specific to the graveyard because DJ can actually still just win by carving out with his quality threats.
Sure.
Certainly DJ has some graveyard interactions, but I don't think he would want to as something as dedicated and narrow as Rest in Peace. I feel it's more for Reanimator matchups, but it's not out of the question that he would bring in Rest in Peace here.
Yeah, he has 3 copies in his sideboard. I don't think he wants the full 3, of course. Maybe just, maybe 1 Miser's copy instead of these 2 Garruk Primal Hunters, which are pretty easy to sideboard out in this matchup. Angel Serenity also pretty slow in this matchup as well. So, just as something to consider. Maybe just wants to lower his curve a little bit here, but we'll see.
It's possible Garrick's a little bit better in this matchup than it normally is. Garrick matches up pretty poorly against Thundermaw Hellkite, and so it's often... As you see DJ take mulligan. Actually, part of the reason that Garruk Primal Hunter was out of the metagame for a little while, or at least just a fringe player, is it matches up specifically quite poorly with Thundermaw, because you just go Garruk make a beast, and they're like, all right, Garrick's dead. It's a pretty bad use of 5 mana.
Sure.
But with DJ not having Garrick in his not having Thundermaw Hellkite in his list and having Zealous Conscripts instead, it's possible Garrick's actually a little bit better here than it normally is.
So we do see DJ is going to be moving down to at least 6 cards here. Jason has kept his 7.
Like against a deck that had Thundermaw Hellkite in it, I would want to, if I was playing Naya or some green deck like that, I would want to cut Garrick and leave in Angel of Serenity. But knowing that your opponent only has Zealous Conscripts, it's possible you want to flip that and keeping Garrick and not have Angel of Serenity.
Sure. Yeah, I can buy that. I mean, I think almost assuredly Angel of Serenity should come out here, just because it is so much mana, and this is such a fast-paced matchup. Where I mean, we saw that last game where Angel of Serenity may have won Jason the game, but I don't think that's how traditionally the games will play out.
Right. I mean, at that point, any closer is usually going to be good enough. That was a little bit different because there were so many Blood Artists in play. Yeah. But under normal circumstances, just a Thragtusk is good enough to carry it home once you have the board stabilized.
And so we are underway here as we're going to see a Temple Garden coming to play untapped for Jason. Going to bring himself down 18. And I believe we're going to see the old Avacyn's Pilgrim to start the show. Falconwrath Aristocrat drawn for DJ. DJ is going to lead out with a Gravecrawler. So both players getting to the board a little early this game.
And you can see multiple copies of Garrick Primal Hunter in Jason's hand. And there's Farseek, so it's actually going to be pretty important for DJ to kill this Avacyn's Pilgrim next turn if he can, because otherwise we're looking at a turn 3 Garrick.
Oh.
Garrick might not be ideal in this matchup, but turn 3 Garrick is going to be good kind of no matter what.
Yeah, I think that's ideal against anybody and everybody. As we do see a mountain coming from the Farseek. We do know that he has a Sunpetal Grove in his hand, so green mana will not be an issue here.
Jason's shuffling up here. Probably going to get in for one with Pilgrim, I would assume.
Yeah, I can't imagine holding it back here. Trading Gravecrawler doesn't seem particularly favorable. And there is the attack for 1, bringing DJ down to 19, and he's going to send it on back. Dragon Skull Summit, Gravecrawler going to come across, bring Jason down to 16. We're going to see a Diregraph Ghoul, and just a pass back. Taking a look at DJ's hand, there is a Dross Messenger in there as well.
It's beast time.
It is beast time in Garrick Primal Hunter.
So we're actually in okay shape if we have a way to remove this beast token right now. Because I don't think Jason's hand has that much action left in it, and then we just get to take down Garrick with our 2 attackers. But if we don't, then this game gets out of control very quickly.
Yeah. I mean, it's pretty crucial that he takes care of it this turn, and he's unable to. So, now Garrick is going to be able to turn on another beast to protect itself. As you do see, Jason's hand is actually just mostly lands right now. As you see the beast token coming across here for Jason.
Well, it looks like Jason's hand is actually just lands. Oh, okay, we're going to draw.
So Thragtusk.
Restoration Angel, they go well together.
And Cavern of Souls. Yeah, his hand, before that attack was just all land, so a Searing Spear there on the beast token plus killing Garrick would have been huge.
Yes.
Absolutely just deadly. But we are going to see a Plains come into play, and we are going to see a Thragtusk come here for Jason, bringing himself up to 21 and putting out another way to protect Garrick.
What did you think of Jason's play to draw through with Garrick instead of just making a beast and saying go?
I think I'm personally okay with it. He was just very light on action. There is the argument for moving it up to 5, so it does, stay out of Falconwrath Aristocrat range.
Sure.
There's something of that nature. There's definitely a gamble involved there, but he doesn't have any action. His hand was 4 lands at that point, so I think taking the risk is okay. And I think I think that DJ had proven that he did not have the removal spell.
Sure.
So we see Falconwrath Aristocrat take care of the Garrick Primal Hunter. But has the damage already been done with the card draws? We see Huntmaster of the Fells drawn for the turn.
Well, Jason is short on enough mana to be able to Restoration Angel and Huntmaster the same turn, so he's going to have to pick between one or the other.
Leaning one way or the other for you?
Probably towards Restoration Angel.
That's going to be the most powerful interaction between the 2 cards. I mean, Huntmaster obviously a very good card, but I think I think Restoration Angel is where you want to be. I almost would consider just Restoration Angeling there while
Main
DJ's
phase, yeah.
tapped out. Yeah.
Because if your Thragtusk gets Searing Spirit here or Ultimate Price or whatever, it's actually quite bad because the life is good. The life is likely to be meaningful.
He did say DJ draw for his turn. He drew a Slaughter Games. Let's see, he's probably considering what to name here. But we are just going to see a Dross Messenger here from DJ. Going to bring Jason down to 19. And now considering his attacks with Falconwrath Aristocrat and Gravecrawler, Diagraph Rule doesn't look like he wants to get in, and it's not going to.
So I think DJ is just going for the kill here instead of blocking.
Yeah, you see DJ just take the damage right away. His life total's perfectly fine. He's going to play Restoration Angel, blink the Thragtusk, get himself a 3, 3, and 5 more life. And I think, Patrick, we're going to be seeing a lethal attack this turn.
Yep. Well, I mean, he can sack the Messenger to block, but
Comes.
Oh, yeah, it comes resets and, yeah, never mind. Yeah, there's nothing to be done there.
So Jason Reed tying the matchup 1-1. DJ Break is going to be on the play game 3, and if you're DJ here, all things considered, you're likely in what's considered to be a bad matchup, or at least a close matchup that's not in your favor.
Right.
Being game 3 on the play, exactly where you want to be. This is important for him. This is part of why the seeding matters now. He was a 2 seed in the tournament, so this is a favorable position for him. He's just got to give the beatdowns as fast as he can.
Yeah, part of the problem is, we saw Slaughter Games in DJ's hand, and part of me suspects that he just has a lot of force in his deck right now. Now, I know your instinct is, all right, well, I should cut Night of Infamy because it's, the pro white is not worth very much, and I mean, it's just pretty anemic in the matchup. But at some point, DJ's had problems with his curve in both games of just being able to play a good clock efficiently. And there's only so many of these like 4 mana spells you can be adding to your deck before you're just gonna get outpowered by Jason when you get to that stage of the game. Like Aristocrat and Hellrider are very good, but that's sort of the game that Jason is more prepared, more equipped to handle than just guy, kill your mana accelerator, attack you, finish you off with one of the 4s. Sure. I don't think you want to be playing, Gravecrawler, go, Hellrider, Aristocrat, measuring your threats one at a time like that. He needs to have a certain, density of low drops, even if they aren't the highest quality, just to get sufficient pressure on the board where you're ending the game with one of your 4s instead of having that be one of your first plays.
Sure. To turn the game around back in your favor.
Right. So that's why I'm pretty dubious about Slaughter Games. Not that, Slaughter Games can certainly have its moments of being good. You make your 4th land drop on the play on turn 4, and you get, Thragtusk or Restoration Angel or whatever before the Naya player has an opportunity to play it. It's probably going to be pretty good at that game. But that's a pretty low percentage of draws where you make your first 4 land drops and you're able to beat them to the punch that way. So when you factor in how many 4 drops are already in DJ's deck, I'm a little, unless he cuts some of them, and then that's a slightly different case. But I think in general, I would rather be drawing a Hell Rider or a Falconwrath Aristocrat than a Slaughter Games. So
I definitely agree with that. I think Slaughter Games, to me, it feels just a little too perfect worldy.
Yes.
I feel like too much has to go right for that to have a huge impact on the game. As you said, he's going to have to play that on time. It's not a card that you can, miss a couple land drops and then cast it, because by that time that window's closed.
Yeah, and it's not. If it was one thing where I'm playing against this Naya deck and he has no good action against me except Thragtusk, and so I can, that would be one thing. But Jason can definitely win this game without Thragtusk. He can win with Bonfire or Hopmaster of the Fells or Garrick or Angel of Serenity. There's numerous cards that are capable of just winning the game, and so your Slaughter Games isn't at its best here because Jason has multiple devastating cards in the matchup.
So we will see what happens in this final game 3 between DJ Break and Jason Reed. DJ being on the play for this particular game. He has taken some mulligans in this match so far. It's going to be pretty important for him to keep a pretty aggressive 7. Hopefully not stumble on lands this game and be able to just curve out, as you said, just 1 drop, 2 drop, 3 drop. Yep. Hopefully the 3 drop is for him, Dross Messenger, to continue the beatdowns.
Yeah, basically I would rather play a game plan that's about All right, well, I hope that he just doesn't bonfire me. Then I'm going to try to go toe for toe with him with 4s and 5s because it's very hard to do.
So we do see DJ taking a look at his opening hand. And it is going to be a mulligan down to 6. Jason taking a look at his.
I think DJ's keeping.
Is DJ keeping? It looked like he reached for
Yeah,
his
I
deck.
thought he did momentarily,
Okay.
but I think he's actually keeping.
Jason is the one that's going to be sending it back. Okay. So for DJ here, that's kind of fist pump number 1.
Yep.
When you're in this, when you're in a pretty unfavorable matchup, being on the play is obviously a huge thing in his favor. But now you see Jason moving down to 6 cards. Naya Ramp, not a deck that mulligans incredibly well.
Yeah, I mean it's decks that are trying to just go, you know, mana into big threats, which is ultimately what the Naya deck is does. Needs a lot of. It needs all of its cards because it needs both mana and spells to cast. That sounds obvious to say because it's true of all decks, but it's much more sensitive to that sort of thing. That's why over the last couple of years, when you've seen decks like Naya Ramp pop up, people have actually sideboarded cards like Mind Rot against it.
Yeah.
Because it just needs, you know, and Valakut, obviously that's more of a combo deck, but the same sort of thing. You need to be able to ramp into your stuff and then have stuff to ramp into, so you're much more sensitive to mulliganing than, say, a blue-white flash deck, which, you know, doesn't have the same sensitivity to its resources.
And we are underway here. Jason does keep his 6, and DJ just starts off with a Blood Crypt and no turn 1 play. So we'll see if he has a turn 2 play, and it is going to be a Knight of Infamy. Okay. So he is going to be getting on the board here, as Jason does take a draw step. And Jason has a Sun Petal Grove, and we are going to see a Farseek. So very important there for Jason to basically, you know, be able to undo this mulligan.
Yes.
Is basically what that Farseek accomplishes. Give him the initiative back in this matchup. And for DJ, it's going to be very important for him to have a play this next turn. You know, Dross Messenger, I think this turn is going to be pretty crucial to this game.
Certainly he needs a follow-up. Even Vampire Nighthawk would be likely to be good here.
Yeah, wouldn't be bad.
Yeah. The Night deck actually is not awesome against flying creatures, so ideally you would have Messenger, but I think DJ would gladly settle for Nighthawk here as well.
As you see DJ draw his card. Going to come across the Knight of Infamy for 3. With the Exalted Trigger, it's going to bring Jason down to 17. And we are going to see a Blood Artist and no land.
Yep.
Not the perfect draw there. As Jason does draw a Borderland Ranger for the turn. You do see a Huntmaster of the Fells in his hand as well. And you see
22 lands and a lot of 4s and 5s has not historically been a recipe for success.
It's taken DJ pretty far so far.
Absolutely.
This is the kind of thing that can happen as you do see a Bonfire of the Damned for 1, clearing out Knight of Infamy and the Blood Artist. Jason's going to take 2 to do that. DJ's going to gain 2, but I think we would consider that a favorable trade for Jason. As that Cavern of the Souls that Jason did play before casting that Bonfire of the Damned does name Angel. DJ draws his card. He draws a Cavern of Souls. And now you're going to see that Vampire Nighthawk you spoke of earlier.
But yeah, if you're Jason, you have to feel pretty comfortable life total here so far. Handful of gas.
And a Huntmaster of the Fells coming to the table as well. Jason going to push his life total back up to 17. Going to see a Wolf token interplay. He's going to pass it back to DJ. DJ's Cavern, of course, naming zombies so that he can actually cast Dross Messenger if he does draw one.
Although, again, Jason's hand looked pretty soft to flyers. If DJ has an Aristocrat here, Jason's hand's not that well equipped to handle it.
Okay. As we do see Vampire Nighthawk come across, gaining DJ 2, dealing Jason 2. We'll see what kind of follow-up DJ has after this. We see a second Blood Artist of the game. And he does just pass the turn back. So getting to work on that life total slowly but surely as we see Rootbound Cragtron for Jason. But as I said, as I agree with you, excuse me, Patrick, it is going to need a 4-drop. It's going to have to be Hell Rider. It's going to have to be Falcon Wrath Aristocrat. One of those powerful 4-drops that makes Black Red Zombies such a good deck.
Yes.
It's going to have to show up soon here. Did you see the Huntmaster and the Wolf token? Not afraid. Coming on across.
I think you just pass here because he has Restoration Angel in his hand.
As you're going to see a tragic slip.
Are we doing this just to avoid a Huntmaster?
Yeah, just to make sure that it doesn't flip. And now you're going to see a Swamp here and Vampire Nighthawk come across, gaining DJ 2, dealing Jason 2. And now you're going to see a Dross Messenger. So DJ, finds that making sure Huntmaster doesn't flip to be very important, as we see a Diregraph Ghoul as well. And he's added to his board pretty well here. And the last card in his hand, Patrick, is a Bonfire of the Damned.
Yep. I feel like we might have been able to pick a better spot for that slip, though.
Yeah, I was a little bit surprised to see that happen on that particular turn, as we're going to see a Restoration Angel here. Target the Huntmaster, gonna blink it out, get Jason 2 more life to push him to 13 and another Wolf token. It was kind of strange seeing that happen, just really putting the onus on making sure the Huntmaster doesn't flip on that particular turn.
Right.
So we do see Jason draws a Selesnya Charm for the turn.
It appears, does that Rest in Peace or Oblivion Ring all the way on the left?
Can't quite make that card out. Rest in Peace would be a pretty good one right now, though.
So would Oblivion Ring.
Yeah, I think, oddly enough, they would both be good cards, yeah. So do you see Jason considering his options here right now? One of the things that Jason has to be wary of here is that he does have 2 copies of Borderland Ranger in his hand, and if he was to go Borderland Ranger, you get a land, play the other Borderland Ranger, get a land, he's opening himself up to Bonfire of the Damned for 2.
Yep.
If DJ does draw that 5th land, so this is a pretty dangerous spot, even though it doesn't really look like one.
Right, and he also has to be conscious of Mark of Mutiny and Zealous Conscripts as well, in terms of how much he holds back.
So we do see the 2 Wolf tokens come across. DJ doesn't look to be blocking, and he's just going to pass the turn back. Huntmaster going to do a little flipping action. And he's going to eliminate the Blood Artist.
That's a huge sequence for Jason there, because, most of DJ's ways to punk him out of this game, so to speak, involve that Blood Artist being in play.
We're going to see DJ take a draw step, and DJ actually does draw another Blood Artist, so he does have access to that card that will be able to probably turn the tide. I think one of the better cards that he can have right now.
Yep.
So DJ considering his attacks for the turn. What's free, what isn't. I'm assuming that our eyes were correct and that his draw was a Blood Artist. It is a little strange to see him not playing this before combat.
Yeah, I think you were backing up here. But even if you get Blood Artists and Alphas, Jason can just go, okay, Huntmaster in front of Messenger, Restoration Angel in front of Nighthawk, Weather the Storm.
Yeah, it gets a little chip damage there from the Blood Artist, but it's nothing great, as you are going to see Blood Artist in their combat now. It's almost like this attack here, attacking with Dross Messenger is quote-unquote free-ish, but, getting 2 plus maybe a trigger from the Blood Artist, not bad, but not great.
Yeah, I think I would rather, with Bonfire of the Damned in hand, I would be loath to trade here, because I think this attack's fine, but if you leave the Messenger back, it's, Jason might go, okay, well, I'm just not going to attack, or only send in my Wolves or whatever, or he might even just try to flip his Huntmaster back, and then your Bonfire for 2 can be insane.
Sure.
So I think you can use this Messenger on defense to at least protect your life total a little bit and give you time to draw your 5th land, and possibly compel Jason to play the game in such a way that your Bonfire is awesome.
As we did see the attack there with the Nighthawk, trade with the Restoration Angel. 2 triggers from the Blood Artist does a little bit of draining and gaining for DJ. But Jason's draw step this turn was another Restoration Angel, which is a pretty big draw step here for him.
I mean, you can easily imagine Jason this turn being like, okay, I'll play 2 Borderland Rangers and flip my Huntmaster back over, and then the Bonfire is actually a full sweep.
And right now what we're seeing is the first Borderland Ranger right now, so that's actually what we might be seeing.
Yeah. I mean, if you're Jason rather, you have to be thinking with DJ having missed land drops and sitting on 1 card that last card could be Bonfire, so it has to be on your radar. But
Yeah, I mean, taking a look at DJ's deck list, he only does have the one bonfire of the damned in his main deck, another one in his sideboard. So, it's kind of hard to play around, a deck, a card that there are only 2 copies of. And you can also make a reasonable argument if you're Jason that, that card is just a Hell Rider that he can't cast.
oh yeah,
You
no,
know,
absolutely.
so that's kind of interesting as well.
That's true.
Checking in on another match for you guys really quickly, Joe Lissette wins game 1 against Jose Rajano with his Human Reanimator deck.
Oh, we're Oblivion Ring. This is a much more conservative line by Jason than playing the second Borderland Ranger, but it still means that if DJ draws a land here, we got a game.
And we are going to see the Ravager of the Fells plus the 2 Wolf tokens coming across.
I got 1, 2. So Jason's going to go up to 12, and then Bonfire kills 5 guys to 7, and then Dark Earth Ghoul attacks to 5. I mean, it's
To start.
And you see DJ actually remind him of his Huntmaster trigger because he needs that Huntmaster to be a 2/2 to sweep everything away.
And DJ does draw.
No, don't forget.
DJ does draw a card, and his draw motion was very deliberate there, but it was not a 5th land. It looks to be a Tragic Slip or another 1-mana black spell, but the 5th land is what he needed, Diregraph Ghoul is not what he needed.
Yep. And now the game maybe have slipped away entirely from DJ.
As you do see, Jason draws an Avacyn's Pilgrim for the turn. You see creatures at the ready here to attack. 3 Wolf tokens, a Borderland Ranger, and a Huntmaster of the Fells. Restoration Angel and Selesnya Charm looming in Jason's hand. He does have access to 6 mana as well. And this attack, pretty safe here.
Yeah.
Anything that goes terribly wrong, Restoration Angel or Selesnya Charm can save.
Yeah. Right. I mean, you can either +2/+2 or just reset with Restoration Angel.
You do see Jason tapping 2 mana, thumbing the Selesnya Charm towards the Huntmaster of the Fells to trample over the Diregraph Ghoul. This is going to get through 10 damage. There will be a Blood Artist trigger, of course, so it'll only be 9. But DJ in a world of trouble right now. Yeah. He's going to take a draw step. You see him shaking his head. It's not what I needed.
Yeah,
shows the bonfire, and that is it. Jason Reed moving on to the finals with his Naya Ramp deck, defeating DJ Break in a good 3 games.
Yeah, solid 3 games. DJ obviously had a window there to draw a 5th land, but again, his deck's only 22 lands, so it's not like that unreasonable that he was on 4 the whole time.
Yeah.
But yeah, another strong showing by Black Red Zombies, one of our foundations or pillars of the metagame. We're going to move over to the Joe Lissette Josue Rajano matchup with Joe up a game. We actually saw these 2 play in the Swiss rounds earlier in the day with Joe pretty easily beating Josue.